Imperial Kalinga Navy has always been overlooked. While the Cholas has been now widely discussed, or the Maratha Navy has been discussed, we do not discuss on the Kalinga Navy.
Achha.
The Kalingans had an edge over the Tamilians in terms of seafaring, sea trade.
Really?
Yes.
Kalinga Navy was so big that even the Portuguese used to be afraid of them.
Before the Cholas, it was the region of Kalinga, which is present-day Orissa mostly, which actually had a great deal of influence in Southeast Asia.
Today we dive into maritime legacy of Kalinga, the godfather of empires in Indian Ocean. Kalinga was not just any coastal kingdom but was the heartbeat of Indian sea trade.
Its Sadhabas, merchant voyagers, braved uncharted waters spreading Hinduism, Buddhism, art, architecture on their boitas, ships. Two lands that still echo its legacy. You might wonder how they managed to reach that far.
Well-skilled Sadhabas used advantage of early monsoon winds to sail down south, praying at coast till Sri Lanka. Then from there a straight cut to the mouth of Andaman where they could take any route to reach Java, Bali, Champa etc. where this coastal powerhouse shaped the destiny of nations, united cultures and became a beacon of maritime glory.
Join us as we uncover the untold saga of Kalinga, where tides carried more than just trade, they carried the spirit of an empire.
Kalinga's influence in Sri Lanka spans centuries.
This isn't just a tale of power, alliances, and conquest but also on cultural and religion fabrics of the island nation. Arrival of Prince Vijaya.
Around 543 BCE, Prince Vijaya, a banished prince from Singhapura, possibly Kalinga, with his 700 followers landed on northern shores of Sri Lanka, then called Tambapani.
There he married a Yaksha and founded its first ruling dynasty to which modern-day Sinhalese trace back their origin.
This event is inscribed on walls of Ajanta caves, India. Even mentioned in Sri Lankan history records of Mahavansha and Dipavansha.
Prince Vijaya's father was Singhabahu, who came from Singhapura, hence their descendants were called Sinhalese. Marriage alliance with Kalinga. Fast forward to 11th century when Cholas have reached its imperial state. Emperor Rajaraja I invaded kingdom of Anuradhapura, taking control over north around 1000 AD.
Kalinga's influence resurfaced through a strategic marriage alliance. The Sinhalese prince Vijabahu married Trilokasundari, a princess from Kalinga. He then launched attack on Polonnaruwa in 1066 and captured the city with Kalinga's support. He successfully restored the sovereignty of Sinhalese throne and united whole nation under Polonnaruwa kingdom.
Kalinga Lokeshwara, a king from this Aurya Sinhalese dynasty, also ruled Sri Lanka from 1187 to 1196. Invasion of Kalinga Magha.
In 1215 CE, leading a well-equipped force, Kalinga Magha invaded northern Sri Lanka and ruled the kingdom of Jaffna.
He was a Chandravamshi from Ganga dynasty of Kalinga and also part Chola from his maternal side.
His reign was marked by conflict and revolution as he sought to dismantle Buddhist institutions and re-establish Hinduism.
Kalinga, Cambodia connections are extraordinary. The love between a native princess and Kalingan merchant served as its foundation.
Yes, even Cambodia's first king was from Kalinga.
1st century BC, when Kondanya, Sadhaba was leading southeast for trade, his boita was surprise attacked by local pirates.
He and his crew fought and successfully repulsed the pirates. But the ship took some damage, hence was beached for repairs.
The pirates were actually being employed by a local chieftain, whose daughter Soma had fallen in love with the young leader, seeing his bravery during attack.
Soma sent over a marriage proposal to which Kondanya accepted. And this is considered a landmark event in Cambodian history. The establishment of its first kingdom, the Kingdom of Funan.
Before, they only had control over a small sub-region of Khmer territory,
but together Kondanya and Soma expanded this humble state into a large and prosperous empire.
Kalinga continued to enjoy its trade flourishing in southeast, making such allies on the go. Its impact is so deeply rooted, even the biggest temple complex, Angkor Wat, bears some inscriptions in Kalingan script.
Some scripts also mention one other king of Funan who was also from Kalinga, who gifted elephants to the Jin dynasty of China.
Following the blueprints of Sri Lanka and Cambodia, even Maldives' first king was from Kalinga.
Maldives was then a scattered group of islands called Divamari.
In 269 BCE, Prince Sri Surdarsarun Aditya established the Aditya Vansha, uniting all islands into one kingdom under Solar dynasty.
Evident from Mapnansa, the copper plates, he was the son of King Brahma Aditya of Kalinga.
A Chinese script from Tang Dynasty also records the visit of Maldivians bringing gifts to China in 658 CE from same Aditya Solar dynasty.
Around 990 CE, the Solar dynasty came to its end, and a new lunar dynasty started ruling as the last queen. Srinath Damhara of Aditya Vansha married a prince from Soma Vansha who also came from Kalinga.
Hence the first two ruling dynasties of Maldives, one solar and other lunar, both find their origin in Kalinga.
Kalinga ties with Myanmar began in antiquity as they sailed across Mahodadi to Suvarna Bhumi.
Then Bay of Bengal was called Kalinga Sea or Mahodadi and Myanmar was called Suvarna Bhumi or the Golden Land.
In 3rd century BCE, the cultural ties between two regions possibly established the ancient kingdom of Sri Kshetra in Burma, which closely resembles Puri called Sri Kshetra in Odisha.
Around 8th to 9th century Burma was directly under Kalinga, ruled by the great Jain king Karkanda, also known as Kalinga Sandha.
That time Kalinga covered almost 2/3 of India and Burma was called Kalingrat or the state of Kalinga.
Jain chronicles placed this king in the group of 4 Chakravartis of his time. His era declined as he gave up his throne and became a Jain Shramana.
Fast forward to 16th century.
According to Brang & Co., a Burmese Bonaparte history, when the king of Lengzing or today Laos invaded and sieged Burma.
In October of 1568, Odia forces defeated, making the Laos army flee out of Burma.
This military assistance helped strengthen the relation of Kalinga with Burma.
Ancient Chinese texts from 5th to 7th century highlight regions of Java as Wuling or Kaling, indicating deep political and cultural grab of Odias on Java, that is present-day Indonesia.
The Bali Jatra festival in Odisha, celebrating Kalinga's maritime voyage to Bali, finds parallels in Indonesia. Rituals like Maskapam Kepse in Bali and also festival of Loy Krathong in Thailand echo shared traditions, highlighting cultural bridge built by Kalinga's seafarers with Siam, that is present-day Thailand.
In ancient texts of Malaysia, the early Indian settlers were termed Kaling, proving influence of Kalinga's sailors.
Kalinga's ventures also reached Vietnam, where Champa inscription in Sanskrit and Hindu motifs highlight spread of Indian culture shared by Kalinga and Pardyas.
Even today in Philippines, a province named Kalinga serves a living reminder of this ancient link. The natives of this state in the Philippines share cultural and lifestyle similarities with the tribal residents of Odisha, including traditional wearings and similar culture of tattoos.
These shared traditions, similar art and architectural style, linguistic similarities underscore the profound and lasting impact of Kalinga's maritime connections in Southeast Asia.
While we know about Maratha's naval fleet under Chhatrapati Shivaji, which is why he is also titled the father of Indian Navy, we know of the Cholas' naval conquests under Rajendra Chola. The story of Kalinga often remains overlooked.
A region that laid foundation for countless kingdoms across the Indian Ocean, Kalinga is truly the godfather of empires in maritime history of South Asia.
It's a mere attempt through this video to throw a light of our glorious past untold for centuries, so please share it as much possible.
Jai Jagannath.